All right, guys, so today we're gonna go ahead and continue to, yes, we're gonna continue to read the graphic novel. And so today we're gonna actually be reading pages or slides 20 through 28. But I wanted to show you, I've kind of changed it up because I do know that it was a little bit hard to read before. So I'm trying something new. So if you go here, I actually recorded the slides. And so like you can make it bigger, you can pause it, those types of things. So basically, let me show you what it would look like. It looks like that. And like I said, you can pause it, you can make it bigger, those types of things to help you read it a little bit better. Is it absolutely perfect? No, but I'm trying my best.
You have the other option as well.
Yeah, and you still have the actual slides as well. So I would love to order this book for you guys, but it's gonna take a while to get that in. So we'll continue on the way that we have been. All the classes agreed that as long as y'all participate, no assignments, no tests. But to make sure that that works in your favor, you need to make sure you have in all your work, okay? Because the reason I front loaded a lot of work was so that I could make sure that there's no assignments and stuff during this time, okay?
We can still check out books, right?
Uh-huh.
We can still check out books.
Yeah. All right, so are we ready? So do we remember what happened yesterday? What happened yesterday?
What's his name? Yeah.
With quotes.
Matthias died, yeah.
He hit a blue.
But what was up with that, the death?
He got hit in the heart, but he actually got hit in the left shoulder.
By
Yeah,
somebody else.
so they think Day killed him, but we know that Day hit him in the shoulder, right?
Mm.
What's up with Day? Was his plan, did he go as it was
It
supposed
didn't
to?
go as planned.
It's supposed to be perfect, no deaths involved.
He
Yeah.
fell.
So he hasn't killed he's never killed anybody, that's for sure. And, but he injured himself, right? Yeah.
And he lost his necklace.
So he made a vow to make regret what they did.
The Republic.
The Republic. But who works for the Republic?
What's her name? That one girl.
June.
June, right? June is part of the Republic, and she has made a vow to take down who?
Yeah.
Day. Because she thinks he killed the brother, but he didn't. He didn't do it. Okay. So it says, so this is Day, right? So now we're starting with Day. We know that Day went into the sewers, but then we didn't know what happened after, right? So can you hear me?
No.
And so he starts to wake up. He's injured, right?
Yeah.
So it says, not so loud, cousin. Where are we? Are you all right? So he keeps calling people cousin. So that must be a what?
Their secret code name or something.
No, just like a term. Because remember, he also tells the nurse, hey, cousin, right? When he goes in there. So that's like probably just what they're expected to call each other. And what was her name? Do you remember? Tess. Good job. Yeah, Tess. Okay. So he made it to the hideout, obviously, or wherever they're supposed to be. All right. Then she says, he says, am I all right? You've been knocked out for over 2 days. We're lucky I found someone to take us in. I don't think you would have made it otherwise. So his injuries were worse than even he realized, right? Because he just had a broken rib and a messed up arm, right? So obviously Tess takes care of him, right? All righty.
Wasn't Tess with his mom?
No, John was the brother and Eden is the little brother,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Tess was there, right?
So then it says, you've got 2 broken ribs and that bullet wound in your arm. And he says, gasp, thanks for bandaging me up. So where did he get the bullet wound from?
Well, at the clinic.
The clinic, right? Remember there, huh? Yeah. And so, so he's pretty beat up, right? And why was he at the clinic? I forgot to ask you
To
guys.
get the medicine.
The medicine for who?
His little brother.
For the little brother. So let me see.
Wait, wasn't Tess with his little brother and brother?
Huh?
Wasn't Tess in the beginning with his little brother and brother?
No,
That's
that
somebody else.
that was somebody else. That was the mom, remember? The mom. Let's see. All right. So Then she says, your break-in at the hospital is all over the news. Everyone knows about it. Did any of the meds survive the fall? So is he concerned about the media?
No.
No, he's concerned about the meds because it's for who?
His little brother.
The little brother, right? But the little brother's not just sick, right? He has the plague, but not even just the regular plague, right? Remember they did a really weird symbol on the door? She said some of them did. They were completely out of cures. I guess pain meds and suppressants are better than, and then knock, knock, right? So he didn't even get the cure, right? He only got meds, the pain meds and suppressants. So was it kind of worth it?
Nah.
No, right? But that's kind of weird that they didn't have the cure, right? And then a man comes in and he says, you have to leave now.
They find out.
Because remember, they're at a hideout. There's a plague patrol doing a sweep in the neighborhood. We understand, sir. Thanks for letting us stay. Why did that man help us? He had a son who died of the plague a few years ago. I think you reminded him of his son. So obviously this plague's been around for a while, right? So now it's kind of mutating. Oh, also, what did they lose when he his pendant? Yeah. Tess says we should leave the city. It's too dangerous here, Day. We'd be better off in Arizona or Colorado or even Barstow. He says, I want to leave too. But you won't, will you? I can't abandon my family, not while Eden's sick. So it makes it seem like the Republic is kind of California, right? It may not extend all the way to these other places because it wouldn't make any sense for him to go to Colorado if the Republic's still looking for him as part of it. So what do we now know about Day? Remember, he's only like 15. Huh? He has a sense of obligation, right, to his family. And that's a pretty big obligation that he's taking on because they're looking for him. But he's willing to stay for his family, at least until the younger brother gets sick, right? And so that reinforces the idea that, because we don't know for sure yet, but it reinforces the idea that the dad is what? Dead. Yeah, right? She says, I was pretty sick when you found me. Remember how grimy I looked? So now they're gonna start remembering how Tess came about. Okay, so obviously, because remember, Day was supposed to be dead. And so he probably lived on the streets. And so we're gonna find out how he met Tess. He says, yeah, you looked pretty awful. Scrabbiest little orphan girl in the history of orphans. And she chuckles. I should find a nice family to leave you with, give you a chance at a normal life. You'd miss me too much. Besides, if I were gone, you wouldn't have anyone to bandage you up. So what now? How are we going to help Eden? We'll see if we can raise enough money to buy a cure on the black market. We've got 2,500 right now. That's not enough for a cure. No, but tomorrow we'll find a skiz fight to bet on. So what kind of relationship do Tess and they have? Huh? Like they're besties, right? Like they help each other. They help each other survive. And she seems to have a sense of obligation to him too, right? Why? He took her. Well, they're still in the streets, but he took care of her, right? So that tells you that he was pretty savvy even on the streets. So that reinforces the idea that Day is smart. So do we really think that he failed those tests? No, right? So they have a really close relationship. And he seems to be able to navigate the streets pretty well because I don't know about you, but 2,500 is still a lot of money even to somebody like me, right? And he has that and he's living on the streets.
Do you think it'd be worth less now since the apocalypse happened and the Republicans?
Probably, yeah. And so, and he's trying to buy a cure, which means the cure is probably where? Also sold where? Well, in the labs, but where do you buy stuff that's illegal?
On the internet.
Well, internet, but we call it the black.
Or the dark.
Or the dark web, yeah. All right, so obviously she gets tired. She's like Miss Garcia, always tired. Let's see. She says, I'll place the bets. If the fight gets raided and the cops run, your fingerprints were both done for. He says, good thinking, night test, night day. So they're gonna bet on some fights, right? Based on what she's saying, are they illegal fights?
Yes.
They're legal or illegal?
Illegal.
They're illegal fights, right? And so far, she's saying we don't want them to have your fingerprints. So it seems like they really don't know much about Day at all, right? They don't know what he looks like. They don't have any fingerprints. So he's pretty smart. Okay. Then it says Battaglia Hall. And then we have this girl. And she says, testing, Thomas, can you hear me? So who is this?
That's
June.
June.
That's June. Okay, who is Thomas? Do you guys remember?
The cab,
Or the driver, right? Mm-hmm. He comes in to be more important than you realize. Okay. And then it says loud and clear. It should be me going out there, not you. Look, don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. Day's no fool, and if I have a team trailing after me, he'll pick up on it in no time. So what is she doing?
Going undercover.
She's going undercover. She's going on the streets. Has she ever been on the streets?
Nah.
Right? She's had a pretty sheltered kind of life, right? Except for, whole dead parents.
Oh.
So then it says, I know you're good at what you do. So did you notice how they changed the way the speech bubbles look
Yeah,
so that you can differentiate? Okay, and a good example is the next. So you see here, he says, I'll take care of things back here and thanks. So her speech bubbles are the circles and then his are the squiggles, right? Because she has a little earpiece. So she's kind of going out on her own, right? Because she's saying she doesn't want to do a trailer. Make a prediction, is that good or bad? Huh?
Bad.
You think she's gonna do all right on the streets?
No.
No, right? I mean, but she knows how to scale buildings,
So
right?
she-
It's
but
kind
that
of one of
don't
those
help
things where like
streets.
she try to act,
She's trying to act
she
cute.
tries to act for it, but she ends up just like giving herself away.
Right? Yeah,
That's
probably
tough.
that might happen,
Please, Sarah.
right?
Nobody
Because
does that.
there's a whole difference between really being poor and trying to act poor, right?
What do you say?
Spare
Oh, yeah,
change,
probably.
man.
Yeah. Jesse, the front office. You just got me? Okay.
One day you feel the burden.
I know, see? I knew it was too good to be true. All right. So let's find out what happens with her. So it says Lake Sector, 6:45 hours, 0645 hours, right? So what are these?
Windmills.
The wind turbines, right? You guys should have heard a lot about that recently. Okay, so, and then we see that there's like this weird,
A water wheel.
yeah, right? So what kind of electricity are they really running off of? Like power, like hydropower kind of thing, right? So she runs across this guard and he says, move along, quit loitering. What's loitering?
Stop looking
Standing
around.
still in a public place.
Yeah, just chilling in a public place you're not supposed to be at, right? So what kind of bubbles are these?
Thought bubble.
Thought bubbles. So she's looking at everything and she says, everything's so dirty. I wonder if I can catch the plague from these people, even though I'm vaccinated.
I was gonna say, like, you're not vaccinated, you're a rich person.
Yeah, so that definitely shows the difference in society, right? She has money, she goes to a good school, right? She's scaling buildings, not getting in trouble, and she has the vaccine. To where all these other people,
They're dying.
yeah, they're dying. And there was a very big juxtaposition between what it looks like on the Lake Sector and then the Ruby Sector, remember? The Ruby Sector looked all modern and everything, and then the Lake Sector looks dirty and abandoned, very dystopian. And notice how she says these people. That's the other thing too. So this even adds more to it. So what do we see?
The doggies.
The dogs, right? They're eating the food,
The
everything's mixed
wanted
together.
sign.
Yeah. There's somebody just chilling over here. And then the wanted signs. And who do we think those might be?
Yay.
They or the rebels, right? Remember they talked about rebels? Okay. So now we're at this like weird building. And she says, Matthias said never to judge the poor like that. So what does that tell us about Matthias?
He was.
So he is also from higher up, right?
Uh-huh.
But was he being judgmental?
No.
No, right? He was saying to be, he wanted her to be more open-minded because it's almost kind of like she's seeing like, oh, these people I have to mix with them, right? But her brother told her not to be like that. And she says, well, Matthias is a better person than I am. So what's this guy doing?
Rummaging through the trash.
Rummaging through the trash. What do you think he's probably looking for?
Mm.
Food, right? So is she trying to follow in her brother's footsteps?
Nah.
Nah. And it says, Miss Embarrassed, everything working? And she said, mm-hmm. Which I don't know how it's working because she hasn't done nothing yet. And she says, in Central Lake now, I'm going dark for a bit. Got it. What does dark mean?
She's going incognito.
She's not gonna talk to him for a while.
Yeah.
Hello. That's good. So now she's mixing with the people again. So is there a big difference in population too from the rich side to the poor side?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot more people on the poor
The
side.
1%.
The 1%. So now what is she doing?
Also rummaging through the trash.
Yeah, and what do you think she's probably doing with this lady? Talking, right?
Information.
She's trying to get information. Now she's talking to some workers. So here's my question. She goes in and she has this preconceived, she has a bias towards these poor people. What happens when you start talking to people?
You get to know them.
You get to know them and what starts happening to your biases?
You start to lessen your bias.
They lessen, right? Because you get to know people. You can't stereotype somebody if you start to know more and more people like them, okay? See how I've woven that all throughout the year? I'm just saying, good teacher skills. All right, so who's this? Day, yes. And he has his binoculars again, so he's just chilling on a rooftop.
You see something.
Yeah.
Oh, they're ready.
And so how do we know whose perspective this is?
Because we saw the binoculars.
The binoculars, the way it's drawn, remember? All right, so we see some people, what do we think they're doing?
Fighting.
Fighting. So this is probably this, was it Skiz fight?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Looks like the One Punch Man.
Okay, so here we have Tess with some, and it's not dollars, it was like what public notes is what they're called. She's giving it to this guy. What's this guy, Polly? What,
The bounce.
the bouncer, the bookie kind of person? Okay, so now we have two people fighting. Right? And the person says, ow, so obviously the one with the binoculars. It says, Cade. So who do we think Cade is?
The one in the red.
The one, yeah. She
Or
says,
brown.
ha, who's next? And they're like, yeah. So notice also how these speech bubbles are different. What does that indicate?
The crowd.
Yeah, but what kind of
The
volume?
intense.
Loud.
Loud and intense, right? So they're yelling. And they're like, choose. And here's Tess, right? And it says, hey, watch it, you
Oh,
brat.
she's trying to get in front so she gets chosen.
And she gets pushed. What do we think's gonna happen?
She's going to be into a fight.
He goes, I throw my hands.
And then the lady says, is that a challenge, kid? So do we think Tess knows how to fight? No. And it's like, fight. And she's like, wait. She looks worried, doesn't she?
I tripped.
Do these people seem to care?
No.
No, right? They're just spectators. All they care about is that they want their fight. And they're like, ha. And then that person says, kick her ass.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the lady says, I can't promise to go easy on you, kid. So does this lady really care that she's about to fight a little kid?
No, she's probably getting
No,
paid.
right? Because this person's probably how old?
Like 20.
20s. And how old is Tess?
Like 15.
Well, she's actually younger than
She's
Day.
14.
Yeah, so she's probably like in her 12, 13 years old.
And she's almost as tall as the.
Man,
Yeah.
they didn't grow
I'm telling
different.
you, these women look grown.
Okay, so we just see the back of her head, but what can we tell even though we're just looking at the back?
What's his name?
She's
He's looking at her.
screaming.
She's scared, right? Like, you notice how her shoulders are kind of. So even though we can't see her facial features, the illustration still shows us that she's gotten in over her head. So then there's this person leaning against the wall and it says, doesn't look like a fair fight.
There she goes.
So who is that?
That's the one for June.
That's June. Right? And she says, who the hell are you? Think you're better?
Oh.
Sure, why not? So now she's thinking, right? She's left-handed, steps forward with her right foot. So what is June really good at?
Fighting.
Analyzing,
She's a
making
Sherlock
observations. Remember when she looked at her brother, even though it was her brother on the ground, she made all these observations.
Detective.
So she is able at the moment, even if she's like severely stressed, able to analyze situations, right?
Well, the
That's
dude that hit him
sad,
is ambidextrous because he's got a shot in his
Yeah.
heart and a punch in his left part of his face.
No.
Okay, so there's no words, but what can we tell what's happening here?
A fight.
One of them is running at each other.
Yeah, so she's accepted the challenge, right? She's running at her. What happens?
She missed.
Does she just miss or
Nah, she moved.
she dodges it? So she's able to tell. Then she does
Broke the ankle.
sides like a foot swipe, but does she fall down?
No.
No, right? So she's also a really good fighter. Coming at her again. And then what happens?
She pulled out is that a knife in her glove?
Yeah, she has a knife in her glove, right? So are these fair fights?
No.
No, right? Well, we should have known that when she was trying to fight like a 12, 13-year-old, but you know. And then she says a knife. Was she expecting that? No, but had she been truly street savvy,
She would have knew.
would she have expected something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that shows how she's still, even though she's really good at analyzing and she's really good at surviving, she doesn't necessarily know how to be street smart. Okay, and she says, so you want to fight dirty? So what does that indicate with her eyes?
She mad.
She's pissed, right? She's pissed off.
She.
So here comes the lady again. She grabs her. Right?
She died.
Now she broke her arm, bro.
It says
Yeah.
snap. So what does that indicate?
She broke her.
She
She broke her arm. Right, so she broke her arm.
Can you imagine casually somebody tries to punch you and you just?
Yeah, just right. So now we know that even when June is upset, she still can think clearly, right? She can, and it's almost like she gets more clear the more angry she gets. So she snaps at, obviously that's pain, right? We know this lady's in pain, not just from the onomatopoeia, but from the facial expressions and everything too, right? So this is, ooh, yes, incredible. So does the crowd like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Do they care that people are getting hurt?
No.
Nah. And they're like, choose. And so June thinks, this is stupid. I never should have let myself get caught up in this. Should I tell Thomas to send backup? Choose. Oh, so what are they wanting now?
They want her to fight.
They want her
Now
to
they
punch
want
you.
her to fight, right? Because in reality, she just saved Tess, right? Because do we think Tess would have survived that fight? Absolutely not, right? Tess would have been demolished.
That's what we did.
Yeah, pretty much, especially if this lady's using a knife, right?
Nothing.
And then she says no. She says, I'm not I'm not blowing my cover over a street brawl. So she's not gonna call in Thomas, right? She's gonna handle it on her own. But they want her to fight. Do we think she's gonna continue to fight?
Yes.
You think so? It says, so she starts to walk away and they tell her, where do you think you're going? They're like, boo, boo. Why is it so important that she fight?
So you get entertainment.
Entertainment and what else?
They cover the money.
Dinero, right? Money, because they place bets on it. And so she continues to walk away, right? This is her. And obviously she's being followed. Who is she being followed by?
The crowd.
Not just crowd, but male, female.
Male.
Males, right? Get back here. You can't just leave like that. Damn it. So they're pissed off. They're gonna try to drag her back. Do you think she can take on that many guys?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Probably.
Okay. So again, they're following her. What does it mean when you see these streaks like that?
They're running, or it's fast.
Like it's fast, right? And it's getting intense. So she starts to try to climb up
She bang.
and they grab her leg. And what does that indicate?
She fell.
falling.
She's falling, right? Because they grabbed her leg. She falls and then it says, boom. Gary, where are you? What the hell? So do we know who Gary is?
No.
No, he's just one of those random dudes, right? Did she set off the explosion?
Yeah.
No.
It's okay.
So she's like, what happened? A dust bomb? Hey, girl, get up. There's a hand. Who? Come on, get up.
Oh.
She grabs his hand and they start running. So,
Little did you know I stabbed your brother.
yeah, I was about to say, so do they know who each other is?
No.
No, but now we have contact, right? Day, why do you think Day stepped in to save her?
Because Dave's a good man.
Because
He's a
thinks-
good guy,
he
and
Unless
thinks
he
she's
knows.
he thinks she's somebody off the streets. He doesn't know it.
he thinks she's somebody off the streets, but who did she save?
The kid.
Oh,
The kid.
look, yeah.
She saved
Tess.
Tess, right? And he was watching the entire time. So what you don't see in the graphic novels is in the book, they actually document what he's thinking when he sees Tess get thrown in the ring. He's actually about to like step out and save her when June steps in, right? So now they've met each other, but they don't know who each other is, right? So what predictions? What's gonna happen?
They're gonna become
They're gonna
besties.
fall in love.
Besties fall in love, maybe.
And then they're gonna
maybe?
find out at the end.
Right?
It's gonna break it.
Yeah. So it's definitely set it up for a conflict, right? Because now June in essence owes Day, right?
Yeah.
Who's
Because Day
So.
owed Tess's life to her. But now he just saved it, so he's canceled that out. So now she's in debt to him.
Oh.
Okay.
Nobody's name is Essence. She meant. Essence.
Yeah. Any
all
questions?
these other names? Tess, June.
Yeah,
Mikhail.
Tess, June.
Essence would be a nice one. I don't know. We get fancy.
Oh, also, what does June have that Day might want?
The
The
pendant?
money.
The pendant, the pendant,
Oh,
the good
money
luck
too.
charm.
That's what I also.
Well, and money, yeah.
But what if we don't know if she has an aunt?
That's a good point. We don't know if she has it on her. All right.
What if he asks like